His Grace Kalasamvara Prabhu will be giving us a lecture on Radhastmi. And thank you all of you for taking out the time to make it tonight. And especially Kala Prabhu because he's the president of the temple. And also he's a disciple of Prabhupada, so thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtana ki, Gaur Premananda. So, it's a pretty amazing subject matter to speak about Radha, Sri Radharani. As we all know, I'm basically not going to say anything I don't think you've already heard, so I'll just read a few things. But as we know from Sukadeva Goswami, he couldn't say the word Radha. Well, he could say the word Radha, but I don't think while he was translating the Srimad Bhagavatam, because he would fall into ecstasy. And some devotees don't even like to speak on Radhastmi. They don't feel that they're qualified to even, they're really humble, speak about Radharani, and they just speak about something else. You're not the body but spirit soul. And even Srila Prabhupada, he was more than qualified, but most of his lectures ended up on the same thing. You're not the body but spirit soul. So even though he could take us deeper into Radha Bhav or Radharani's pastimes, still he would keep it suitable for the audience. But also Prabhupada would sneak in little things which were like gems, just like in 72 he was talking and he mentioned, what is the difficulty in becoming Krishna conscious? You take a diamond Sringasana, you put it in your heart, and you ask Krishna to sit there. What is the difficulty? This is Krishna consciousness. This was in 72, when the society was just being founded. So the subject matter is Radharani and Radharani's birth. So that's a mean cough, isn't it? Who knows about Radharani's birth? Who knows how she was born? When she was born? Anybody? You've heard? You must know. No? Anyhow, she appeared on a golden lotus. Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, if you're looking at cool things, that's pretty cool. Oh, and how was your daughter born? On a golden lotus. Floating in the middle of the Jamuna. So I'll just read a little bit here, some verses. On a half-moon night in the month of Bhadra, King Vishubhanu came to the Jamuna to bathe and found himself engulfed in a golden aura. The golden aura of pure love. It was emanating from a lotus, which had a baby girl standing in its whirl. When the king returned to the palace with the baby, Queen, what's the name's wife's name? Huh? Yeah, see? You know these things already. Queen Kirtidar was delighted. She was also shocked that the girl was blind. Lord Krishna's mother Yasoda heard of her best friend Kirtidar had a baby. So she came to visit along with her husband and her son. Krishna crawled up to the cradle and pulled himself up to look in. At that moment, Srimati Radharani's eyes fluttered and opened wide and blossomed like lotuses. It seemed that she did not want to see anything of this world, only the form of Krishna. Confirmed. Confirmed. Don't they say that? If you speak something and there's some sound, it's confirmed. So confirmed, okay. Everyone was delighted. So Krishna consciousness is a meditation. So I remember hearing that story, right at the beginning of my spiritual life, and you don't forget those things. You don't forget that Radharani was born blind. You don't forget that actually, if it wasn't for Krishna, she didn't want to see anything else. So Srimati Radharani is the mother of the universe, the spiritual master of all souls. The concept of mother is the most sacred symbol, that of purity, selflessness, caring, sharing, nurturing and love. That is why our sacred mantra is the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare means Radha, a desperate cry for the mother, Radha. Please wake us up from the nightmare of mortal life. Remind us of the Father who we have forgotten and take us home. In the Krishna conscious movement, devotees carefully worship Srimati Radharani as a bestower of devotional service to Krishna by attentively chanting her names in the Mahamantra, by worshipping her deity form, and by following the instructions of the most merciful Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a combined form of Radha and Krishna. So that is the beginning. Well, the beginning originated in the spiritual realm, and of course Krishna was ready to descend to this material world 5,000 years ago. So with Krishna, of course, comes Krishna's concerts and Krishna's paraphernalias. So Prabhupada tried to teach us that we should learn certain things, like learn mantras, prayers. He mentioned we should learn like the Nasingaday prayers, the Purusha Shukta maybe, or different prayers. So at the time of death, when everything's fading away, these prayers come to the mind. Like if you're continually chanting something, like if you're continually chanting samsara prayers, and after samsara prayers, then the Nasringaday prayers, then it's very easy for these things which are sitting there, like within a computer, it has a hard drive, and everything's in that hard drive. But it just takes the word to agitate the hard drive and bring it to the top. So within our mind, we have the same mind that we had at the beginning. When we first entered this realm, this material realm, which we forced Krishna to make us come here. We should remember that. We forced Krishna. There wasn't any particular point where Krishna turned around and says, I'm sending you to the material world, you rascal. No, Krishna told us, don't go. Just like at the moment I'm reading the story of Mohini Murti in the 8th canto. It's one of my favourite cantos, the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam. So when they were churning the ocean and Mohini Murti turned up, she manipulated the demons and took the nectar and gave the nectar to the demigods. So during that whole particular pastime, because Mohini Murti was so beautiful and so attractive that the demigods, the demons, they become captivated by her form. And to please her, they're willing to give everything. So Lord Shiva wasn't there at that particular point. So he heard about this form. What's this Mohini Murti form? I haven't seen this Mohini Murti form. So he approached Krishna and says, Krishna, I hear that you've appeared in this incredible form. I want to see. And Krishna says, are you sure? Are you sure? And Shiva says, look, I'm Shiva. I've just swallowed an ocean of poison. His neck's still blue. I'm living with Durga. That's his girlfriend, that's his wife, Durga, the most beautiful. What's the big deal? And Krishna says, are you sure? And he says, yeah, I can take intoxication and still think of you. I can be surrounded by beautiful celestial beings and still think of you. So you're going to come in Mohini Murti and I'm going to forget you. And Krishna says, okay. I told you 3 times. And then Krishna disappears and Mohini Murti appears. And even in front of his wife Durga, who's the material energy, who's so beautiful, he became captivated by Krishna, and he ran after Mohini Murti. So it's a beautiful story. So Krishna explains, or Prabhupada explains, actually you might have just heard that lecture. I don't know if you go into my Facebook page, but there was one lecture by Prabhupada and he says 3 times, we force Krishna. And when you hear it, you go, that's pretty far out actually. It's so personal. And Prabhupada gives the analogy of it. The child, sometimes the child forces a situation. The parents go, I just wash my hands. It's you want to do it? Go do it. But don't come back to me when you blow it. You know, you sort of like tried to get the child not to go, and the child goes, well, I'm going to do it anyhow. It's just like what children listen to their parents. Did you ever listen to your parents? Come on. I never did. Which generation actually listens to their parents, even though their parents have got like years of experience? You know, they've been in Maya, they've been in love, they've been in illusion, they've lost this, they gained that. So it doesn't matter what you tell the children go, that's you, it's not going to happen to me. So in the same way, we become enamored by the material energy. So it's pretty amazing how it all works. So we get to hear about these incredible stories, and we have to feel appreciation for what Prabhupada has given us. Just like everything here is because of Prabhupada. You're sitting here because of Prabhupada. You know, Divya's playing the harmonium because of Prabhupada. Someone's playing the drum because someone's playing the kartals. The deities are here because of Prabhupada. You know, so you cannot see Prabhupada whenever you see a devotee or anything in connection to a devotee. It's sort of like the International Society of Prabhupada Consciousness. And this is an incredible thing. And the most amazing thing is that Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and then he wrote books, and within those words entered Vrindavan. This is like mystical potency stuff. And then when these words go to another country, Vrindavan manifests itself. So just like New Varshan is like New Varshan. You know, who's been to Varshan? Anybody here? Who's been to Vrindavan? Apart from the devotees. Devotees are so spoiled. We're rascals, aren't we? So you go to Varshan, and you climb up those stairs, and Radharani's there and Krishna's there, but that's not their birthplace. Their birthplace is Raval. So when this pastime was happening, when Vishuvanu went to the Jamuna, which is just from Raval, and if you go there, it's a very small, it's not very opulent at all, it's a very tiny place. I remember when we did Braj Mandala, when you do Braj Mandala, the Braj Basis and the Brahmanas and the priests, they go out of their way to look after us white people. I think they're just enamored. God, here's a white person, you know. And so I remember we stayed at Raval on Braj Mandala, and there was no room, so the Pujari says, you can come and stay with us. So we slept in the same room as the Pujari. He was worshipping the deity, and we were in there, and I can still remember the scent, you know, because the Pujari is always associated with the deity, and there was always perfume and so on and so forth. So I distinctly remember that room. It was just a powerful aura of Radha Bhav, of nectar. And then he would finish the puja about 10 and come in. So we get to sleep with the Brahmanas, no, with the Pujaris, you know, Radha's Pujaris. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that's just the coolest thing, that if you want mercy, like the devotee, give me your mercy, give me your mercy. So imagine if you go to those places and the Pujari goes, and the courtyard's there, the altar's there, and the Pujari lives right entering the courtyard or the temple room. So there was one other time we were in another place where Lord Vishnu, that reminds me of Lord Vishnu, that chandelier. You know, it's like Lord Vishnu's lying down, you got all the celestial beings offering. So, you know, and I was thinking of that, and then I was thinking another story on Braj where we went to that place where they have the deity of, it's the end of Braj, Sesha something. It's the end of Braj, and there's a milk ocean. So So you go there and Mahavishnu is lying down just like that chandelier. So also when we were there, the local bridge buses, they moved out of their rooms and they let us sleep in their bedrooms and on their beds, and their beds were those, you know, those bits of, not string.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was their beds, and I remember waking up at about 3:30 one morning in this place, and the grandmother had got up, and she got up and she came into the room, and it was pretty scary. And then she went to the corner, and there was the churning rod for churning the milk into butter. You know, so I'm sleeping and I'm seeing this, I go, this is ecstatic. Don't make a noise, she'll think I'm watching. So I mean, it's just, there's just so much nectar and brudge to actually see the locals. First of all, they give up their place and they have nothing, they give up their bed. They all just go and sleep on the floor or sleep outside. And then the grandmother comes in tuning, like, Mother, you're so in ecstasy. So this is Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada's mercy that we get to experience these things, which is pretty far out. So here's another bit of Prabhupada's mercy. Bhavana Sara Sangriya. Have you read this? Anybody read this? Have you got it?
No.
Oh, well, you haven't lived. You should do a whole Bhakti Shastra on this. This is one cool book. So you know, so it's just such a beautiful book. And I'll start off here just reading a few things. Questions, questions, questions. We fill our days seeking answers to questions about food, money, family, friends, business, living arrangements, recreation, education, and sometimes questions about Krishna. Think about this. During our busy day, do you ever stop and ask these three questions? What are those three questions? Do you ever stop in your busy life? You're going down the motorway, you're just about to have a fight with somebody, or you're going to have a crash, and you just stop and you ask these three questions. Where is Radha Govinda right now? You ever done that? Hands up. Imagine, you know, it's like, you know, Krishna consciousness is so cool. It's like, here's Krishna and Arjuna on the battle of Kurukshetra. Krishna's all fired up. It's just like the All Blacks about to do the haka, and Krishna comes on and goes, stop for a while. They're just about, Gamma-tika. Hold on. Do you reckon you should be playing this team, the Aussies? You know, or India's just about to play Pakistan. Remember when England played Pakistan for the first time? You know, a few years back. People were expecting riots and the whole thing. So imagine if Krishna turned up and says, stop the game. There would have been riots and coups and all knows what. So right in the middle of battle, I mean, Arjuna's all fired up. He's going to fight. And Krishna says, just hold on a moment. So that's what it's like, that same anxiety that Arjuna was in to achieve or get to where he was. We get in that anxiety too. And when we're in that anxiety, we don't like to be stopped by anybody, wife, husband, children, daughter, whatever. We don't like to be stopped. So Prabhupada's asking the question, do we ever ask that question? Where is Radha right now? What are they doing? And what service can I do to please the divine couple? So these can be the three questions that you do your whole course around. I'll make a course for you, okay? So this is one incredible devotee, Sri Siddha Krishnadas Tapapada. So he's the compiler, and it's called A Collection of the Ultimate Meditation. So I always notice time and people who turn up on time and people who don't. My name's Kalasamvara. So I think I was cursed with that name. you know, because generally when Prabhupada gave people names, it was like your first letter. So my name was James Beecroft. So I thought I might have been called Jagannath or, you know, some cool name like that, you know. So, and in those days, if you look at all the names of the people, Prabhupada took the first letter, which is pretty incredible, isn't it? I mean, he took the first letter of your Kami name, and there was a Krishna name to actually go with that, Jagannath, and what's another J? Whatever. So anyhow, he called me Kala, Kalasamvara. Kala means time, and Samvara means the controller. It's the name of Lord Shiva when he dances at Annihilation. When the Lord Shiva dances and destroys everything, which I'm really good at. I'm good at that. Oh, you know, that's one thing I'm really good at. I'm a really good destroyer. So you should understand that's because I've been given that name. Even though I don't mean to, it's just that Prabhupada gave me that name. So I noticed time. And the two reasons I noticed time is one because my name's Kala, and the other one is because Radharani likes punctuality. So every devotee has a clock which is 5 minutes fast, just like that, isn't it? Every devotee lives sort of like in the future, but they're not quite there. The alarm clock, if you want to get up at 4:30, set at 3:30, and it's on the snooze every 10 minutes. And you come to a program here, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm going, oh, far out, I've got plenty of time. And I look at my watch, and I go, God, this watch, it's broken already. And then I go, oh, no, we're in a devotees family. They might do an offering, or they might have to get there in a certain time. So they always put the clock 10 minutes. Is that just by accident, or is that what you do? Yeah. Anyhow, it's a devotee thing. And another thing we learn in ISKCON, in the Hare Krishna movement, is that we're not good at time. We're the worst at time. It's sort of like they say that's one of the good things. No, they say that's one of the bad things. We've taken from India, that no one's on time. I remember when I first went to India and we went to catch the bus and the train to Vrindavan. So we went to this bus depot, and people were sitting there. And the people said, yeah, bus to Vrindavan, bus to Vrindavan. So we go and sit there, and 3 hours later, or half an hour later, we go, where's the bus? And they said, come in. You know? And then 3 hours later, we go, where's the bus? And some other people come and they said, oh, bus hasn't been here in 3 years. And then one other person came and said, bus never comes. And I'm going, what are you sitting here for? So they said, oh, you want to go to Vrindavan, you get that bus. And it was an incredible bus. It was one of those buses which was tin, was just tin, you know, no windows. It was like no padding. And we were just young then. We thought, this is just real far out stuff. We're going to Vrindavan in a tin can. and the bus stops there, and the bus hasn't been for about 3 years. And if we hadn't asked, we'd still be there. I'd still be there waiting for the damn bus. So, and you can see, you know, when we're having programs at the temple, we say, look, it's got to start at 7, and they'd go, okay, you better say it's going to start at 6:30, because there's a devotee time, and it's a whole different time to everybody else's. So anyhow, this is this beautiful personality, and association is very important. Actually, association is the most important. As we get older in our spiritual life, we come to that realization that there's nothing more important and potent in association. Either associating with our friends and relatives, associating with the Vaishnavas, with the deity. Prabhupada says by touching the deity, you become spiritualized, isn't it? Because the deity spiritual. And association changes your way of living and way of seeing things. If you want to become a good swimmer and you associate with a swimmer, you'll become attracted. Prabhupada says if you associate with a drunkard, which we've all done, I presume most of you have done, associate with a drunkard, you become a drunkard. Even though you don't want to, it's just association. So if you associate with someone who likes to chant japa, then you become attracted. Just like you might have remembered, we had one devotee in the centennial, or Prabhupada's 40th, was it the 40th? We had Guru Kripa. Guru Kripa was very dear to Srila Prabhupada. So we brought him over. So I remember waking up one morning and I heard this incredible japa and I was thinking, who's that? You know, and I walk in there, here's Guru Kripa, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Every precise and clear, and you know, now 20 minutes finished his round, so we just sit there. I was, geez, I want to be like that. I want to chant like that. You know, so you see, and you become attracted. So we get to associate with these incredible personalities, which were just here, you know, a few hundred years, a few thousand years ago. So they might be not here physically, but they're eternally present. So here's this incredible personality, Sri Siddha Krishnadas. So I'll read a couple of things, and I think you will agree that he's a pretty cool devotee. Once Siddha Krishnadas visited Jaipur with great eagerness to behold Sri Rupa Goswami's beloved deities, Sri Govindaji. See, even though we're going to read it, there's so much nectar just in that one verse. Who's been to Jaipur? So you should get a whole group and just take them, you know. So in Jaipur, like it's explaining here, there's the beautiful deities Rupa Goswami, Govindaji. So, and this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem if you're temple president, to have this situation. They get about 5,000 people from Mangalarati. That's a huge problem, isn't it? It's like, imagine you open the thing and they're like, busloads of people are pouring in and devotees are pouring in. And then you've got to experience it because it's from another world, it's from another dimension. So you go there and they have these elder gentlemen that turn up really early. Darshan's around about 5 o'clock, so about 4:30, older, like me and you, older gentlemen. And they're playing these beautiful instruments and chanting all these prayers to Govindaji. And then the curtains open, everyone just goes crazy and they sing beautiful prayers. So that's small time. You go there at 8 o'clock, it doubles. I mean, what a issue, what a problem, isn't it? God, you know, what's your problem? There's too many people coming to see the Lord. And not only that, it's not like it just happens once. Like here we have a Janmashtami, a few people come, or Radhastmi. This is every day. Every day, there's thousands of people. You know, it's so, you go there and just get, you know, like when you start circumambulating the deity, you hop in and you get pushed along. You know, like when you jump in the Ganges at Rishikesh, you know, you can't swim because the Ganga's so powerful. You jump in and then all of a sudden 10 minutes down, you know, you're a mile down the road. That's why they have all those strings there to catch you. So you go and have darshan of Govindaji and you do it because it's nectar. And you're rubbing up against all these, you know, incredible personalities, incredible Vaishnavas. I remember a couple of years ago, I took one devotee who hadn't been to Vrindavan. It was Holi. So I love Holi and Vrindavan. So I took, it was Trivikram and Gauranataraj. So it was wild. Holi's wild. So we were at Nandagram the day after Varshan, and we were right in the front. And I stepped back because I knew what was going to happen. So I stepped back against the wall and I said, you guys stay here. You've got to stay here. Don't move. You know? And the curtains open, the die comes down, people come running. Gora goes, I think I broke my arm. I said, get back in there. I broke my arm. Doesn't matter, get back in there. It's like, there's just this whole rush of people. It's just mind-blowing. We'll continue the story, but this is what happens when you just hear something and you hear about people. Like last year the year before we did the bathing of Radhakund and the appearance of Radhakund. So you've got to remember, prior to ISKCON, hardly anyone was there. You know, prior to ISKCON, hardly anyone was walking around Vrindavan. Prior to ISKCON, anyone was walking around Govardhan Hill. Now on a given day you can get 1 million people walking around Govardhan Hill. So who's been to the appearance of Radhakund, 12 o'clock at night? Yeah, you're a local. So when we first did it a few years ago, you know, there was lots of room. Last time we did it, it took us 20 minutes to get down the stairs. Now the stairs are from there to here. 20 minutes. And the only reason I got down is because I've been in India a lot and I just didn't care about anybody. I said, I'm going down, okay, step back. And people pushing and shoving and the whole thing. And in my mind I'm thinking, well, this is it. I'm going to die right here. You know, you're going to read about it on the news that a Kiwi was crushed. Crushed on the holy night of the appearance of Radhakund. He was stampled to death. There was nothing left except his teeth. Because they couldn't crush them. And so anyhow, I was with someone, I was with Amiyatma. He has a place there. And we were thinking, this is just mind-blowing. So anyhow, you bathe in Radhakund. Now, a most amazing thing happens at Radhakund at midnight. All the local people, you know, all the ladies, they come there and then they have their dry clothes and the clothes that they're wearing. So when they bathe in their clothes, they take them off and leave them. This is an amazing thing. And then they get changed into new cloth. Just like when the demigods come and bathe in the different rivers and the different planets, they leave all their jewelry and their cloth on the banks, and the sudras, the people who are playing music, they're the sudras, that's their payment. So they sing a song and they get left with all the gold and all the saris and so on and so forth. So what happens is that after Radhakund is finished, all the clothes are left there. So I don't know how it all works out, but the people that don't have anything, they come and get the clothes. It is so cool. They have these baskets and they fill them up with the baskets, so they just pick out the good things, and I think they wash them and sell them back down at Lloyd Bazaar the next day. but that culture of the rich leaving everything, and then you can't really call them beggars, but the local bridge buses, they can come and take it. So anyhow, getting down takes 20 minutes. Don't even think of going back up the stairs. Don't even think about it. It's not going to happen. You've got all those people that are in Radhakund that have come down these stairways, now have taken their bath and want to get back. Not at the same time, all the people that haven't bathed want to come down. So me and Ami are just, you know, you look, in India you look for opportunities. It's a land of opportunities. You wait for someone to fall down or die or just go back to Godhead. So it opens a space so you can get in there. Isn't it? God, they all died, run! You know, just joking. So to get up, I think it took us 3/4 of an hour. And I'm telling you, like, it's like a full-on fist fight of nectar. You're going up and people are pushing you and get out of it, wrong way, no, we're going, no, wrong way, you go this way. There's no way, there's no right and wrong way, you know. And then you get up to the top, where the path is, where you can walk around Radhakund, and it doesn't matter which way the people are going, that's the way you're going. There's no, oh, my place is there. No, the crowd's going that way, you just go with them. And it's like, you go with them, and then as soon as an opportunity, you shoot out like that. But if there's no opportunity, you just keep going. So, these are the nectars of crowds. So anyhow, that's what this reminded me of. Crowds of people. After feasting his eyes on the sweet form of Sri Govindaji, after Siddha Krishnadas begged the king of Jaipur to allow him to serve Govinda Dev throughout the eighth period of the day and night. The king was pleased by the request and posted Krishnadas as the temple doorkeeper. Siddha Krishnadas served Govindaji for many years and then returned to Braj. He stayed in the forest of dominant engaging in bhajan. Occasionally, he walked to nearby Nandagram to beg a little white flower, which he would mix with water and eat raw. Sometimes he ate thick chapatis mixed with neem leaves. Gradually, he got weak to beg food and became blind. I mean, this is real. You know, it's not like Alice in Wonderland or The Hobbit. You know, I mean, this is the life of someone who's on another level that we'd love to be on. Just in time for the nectar. He stayed in the forest, maintaining his life with a little water from a kund. Within a few weeks, Krishnadas could not even fetch water from the kund. I'll end up moving it again in a moment, when my legs wake up. Srimati Radhika's heart melted with compassion after seeing that Krishnadas had passed 2 to 3 days without water. Catching Lalita Shakhi's hand, Radha said, "Do you wish to tarnish my name? Why have you not shown your favour to Krishnadas? Here, immediately take this plate of prasad to him." So this is an incredible thing that's happening because of Krishnadas's love for serving the Lord. He gave up everything, like Rupa Goswami. Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, when he was hungry, he would just put his hand in the dirt and eat it. He was so absorbed in Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. That's what he would do. And Gaurkishore Das Babaji would just wander over Braj going, Radhe, 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 Radhe. That's what he would do. So, you know, even for the body to accept that, the body has to be spiritual. So these people have given up everything. Everything they've given up to us is an important thing. You know, eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Our whole life is centered around it. But these particular living entities, they've actually given it up. And because of their desire to serve Krishna, Radharani notices. Just like there's another story in the Nectar of Devotion about one devotee. She was a sadhaka, and she heard that actually Radha and Krishna, or Krishna would stay up during the night, and the gopis and Radha, or the gopis, would dance with Krishna. Chandrakanta in the Nectar of Devotion. So then she says, I want to be like a gopi. I want to dance with Krishna. So she stayed up all night. You know, these are not normal things. Do you stay up? Do you have a desire? I suppose if you do, certain desires, stay up all night dancing on your own. So she stayed up all night dancing, meditating on, I want to dance with Shyam. And in the morning she got Radha Bhav. She got blessed by Radha. And she could enter into that dance. So what we're hearing about is pleasing Radharani. That's what the whole discussion is all about, isn't it? Pleasing Radharani. So here is Siddha Krishna Das. He's pleased Radharani. So Radharani's becoming concerned. So she's sending Lalita. Lalita delivered the prasadam to Krishna Das saying, Baba, Baba, please honour this prasad. Seeing your suffering condition, my mother sent this for you. Lalita words acted like elixir to relieve the dying Krishna Das. Just the divine fragrance of the prasad gave Krishna Das the strength to sit up. Every cell in his body became surcharged with supernatural energy by honouring the sacred food. Lalita Ji, dressed as a gopi maiden, asked, Krishna Das, why don't you go to the village to beg food? Krishna Das, I'm blind, so how can I go anywhere? Lalita Ji, if you could see, would you go for Madhukari? Krishna Das, yes, why not? Another word. See, these words that we hear should, create a flavour. They should create a hankering, a desire. So, who's done Madhukari? You? You better have. So that's when you go village to village and you knock on the doors, which don't exist because they don't have doors. And the elderly ladies are sitting there making roti on those little things, whatever they're called. So they're making rotis, and then these rotis are just, in a material sense, are mind-blowing. The Bridge Basi rotis, there's nothing like it in the three worlds. So Madhukari is when you go door to door. So when you go to Braj and when you go to Vrindavan, door to door happens between 7:30 and 8:30. So that's when you can get some of the nectar. So you just walk past and they're in there cooking, and you somehow or other get their attention. That's your goal. You have a goal. Your goal is to get one of those rotis. You only have one focus. You're in samadhi now. You're not caring about the rupee. Where am I staying? You can't get any rupees. My feet hurt. Yet you just become, I am now in samadhi. And what is that samadhi? I have to have one of those rotis cooked by that Bridge Basi handed to me from her hand. Samadhi, one pointed. And once you go into that samadhi, if you don't get one, your day's ruined. Your life's ruined. Because all day you think, I didn't get one of those rotis. But you always get one. Soon as this is pretty far out stuff. Indians are far out. I know you're Indians, but you're pretty far out. Because these Bridge Basis, they just catch it out of the corner of their eye. Like you hear Krishna glances at Sham. She has these lotus eyes. Lotus eyes, they start here. They go right round there. Lord Chaitanya has these lotus eyes. So when you have eyes like that, you can sidelong glances. Because you've got a bigger eye, isn't it? What do you want? So, Lord Chaitanya has them and Radha has them because Lord Chaitanya's Radha and Krishna. So these Bridge Basis, they're down, they're incredible. They're like mystic yogis because they have the husband who wants to get to work, kids have to go to the school, and then a stranger turns up. And they stop everything. They just stop, come in, sit down. And then everyone comes out of the house, white man. White man's come for roti. Take a photo, So once you have one of these rotis, your life's finished. There's nothing higher in the three worlds than a Bridge Basi roti. I remember once doing the Holy Name retreat at Govardhan with Burujan and all the devotees. So right over the road on Govardhan was a family. They lived in tents, generations of families. So instead of eating with the devotees, I'd go there for breakfast and lunch. So they were simple. So they just had a stone, a flat stone, and I'd go over there and say, how are you? Any roti? And even if they don't, they'll sit you down. You know, these people have nothing. They'll sit you down and start the fire again. So they had this, I remember this stone, flat stone. So sit down, have some roti. They'd cook the roti, then they'd make the sabji. What's the sabji? Chili on the stone, a little coriander, maybe a little thing, and then you grind it. And then she brings the plate, and then she puts this chili compound on your plate, and then beside the chili compound is some sugar, and behind that is some dahi, that drink. What's that drink? Chai. This is another story. Another story is that actually last year I went to this village, and in this village they drink that, yeah, but what's it called? Buttermilk. And within that village, no one's ever died unnaturally. No one's ever had cancer, no one's ever had a heart attack, no one's had anything. And we were driving from that village back to Vrindavan, and then the mother was sitting in the back of the car, and she says, stop, stop! What's going on? She hops out of the car, pulls the plant out of the ground, picks it up, brings it in the car, and she goes, this is for my children. My children eat this plant, they will never get sick. We're just driving down the road, you know. Was it an emergency? We got a flat tire? No. Get the plant, pulls it out. So that's that. So anyhow, you get that. So they train you how to do it. They go, you get the hot chapati, you dip it in the sabji, you eat the sabji and the chapati because it's so damn hot, you're going to catch on fire. You dip it in the damn sugar right away and drink the drink. It's like when you go to the pub and you have a tequila, isn't it? You put the lemon on here, the tequila is so horrible, you drink it. So it's the same ras. One of them's perverted, that's all. It's just perverted. So you go to these villages. So some devotees go, no, we can't eat. How can you do that? You can't do it. You're going to get sick. And then somehow or other you have to unbrainwash the Western devotees and go, just try it. And then they try one of these rotis and they run back to the camp. Gurujan, had a roti, it was fantastic, everyone has to come. You know, first 3 days is, no, what do you do? Oh, no, you can't do that, Carla. This is ridiculous. You're going to get some disease and die on the spot. I'm going, no, I'm not going to. And then gradually you wean them, and you have to wean the Westerners in, you know, try, and they go, oh, this is incredible. Anyhow, it's Madhukari. Lalita Ji. This is Lalita speaking. Now this is another incredible thing. A body more effulgent than millions of lightning bolts appeared one evening before Krishnadas and said, why are you anxious and feeling sad? You are mine and I am yours. By the magical touch of Lalita, who is none different from me, you have not only regained your eyesight, but you have also received my full blessing. Now give up all worries and go to Govardhan. Help with those who are firmly devoted to me by showing them a simple method of obtaining my lotus feet. We all know who it is, don't you? After giving this command, the divine damsel, who was none other than Srimati Radharani, disappeared. Krishnadas remained in earth for a long period of time as the 8 ecstatic transformations took over his body. He considered his life completely successful by having Radha's darshan and by receiving her order. Pretty cool guy? Someone you'd like to hang around with, get to know? So these are the ecstasies that can be an experience. One other little thing here. Once while deeply he had a servant. People who would come to him would also experience the same thing. Once while deeply meditating on the Manjari Swarup, Siddhadeha, Krishnadas Siddha Krishnadas was helping Radhika throw colours on Shyam during the Holy Leela. When he returned to external consciousness, Krishnadas found his physical body covered with perfume red powder, saffron, musk, camphor and sandalwood paste, all thrown during the holy festival. So within his mind he's experiencing these things, but they're actually going on. And when he awakens, he's full of holy. So this is the mysticism of spirituality and what these devotees are actually experiencing. So you have a black kitchen. Who designed it? So you have a black kitchen. So as we mentioned when we were talking in the Bhakti Shastra, you wanted to know about more of the Ashtashakis. So they're all here, okay? So we talked about the Ashtashakis and how they've got, they surround Radha Kund. As we know from the nectar instruction, there's no place dearer. There's Govardhan, there's Vrindavan, there's no place more dearer than Radha Kund. And then around Radha Kund is the Ashtashakis, they have their different kunds. So I tried to find a black one, because I thought there was a black one, but it's blue. So when you have a black kitchen, it's easy to remember these things. We need to create a situation in our life where remembrance of Krishna comes easy. So it should be impossible for you to not walk in the kitchen and not think of Shyam. It's like, how can you not? What do you think of Shyam? Because it's black or bluish. So Rangadevi, Shyama coloured, Kunj, lay on the southeast of Radha Kund. Radharani appreciated this Kund because its dark blue colour reminded her of her darling Shyam. Everywhere, bluish creepers embraced tamal trees. The ground, temple and cottages were studded with blue sapphires. Wherever Radha's grandmother or some elderly gopis passed by, they could not see Shamasun sitting beside Radhika. So all the kunds have a different colour and have different features. So that's Rangadevi's, and then there was Tungavidya's is another amazing thing. So what are the colours there? Oh, the entire kunj is inlaid with rubies. By Krishna's desires, all the birds, just imagine this. Rubies. What's the colour? What's a ruby? Is that a reddy colour? Tinge. So the entire kunj is inlaid with rubies. By Krishna's desires, all the birds, animals, trees, vines, flowers, and paths and swings were made of red gems. So everything in that kund's red. Imagine seeing a red bird. It's all red. And a red tree. So everything is red. So all the different Ashtashakis have different colours they're attracted to. So we're going to finish. I was going to read a lot of them, but there's too much to read. There's too much nectar. So spiritual life has to be practical also. We hear these pastimes of Radha and Krishna. We have to do something practical to get that reciprocation. Some menial service, some service to the deity, some service to the Sankirtan movement. So we talk about Radha Kund and how precious Radha Kund is. So I thought I'd bring this. So this, and there's 14 links, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Don't go taking one. So this is the chain from Radha Kund. If you go to Radha Kund, when you go to bathe in Radha Kund and Shama Kund, they have these chains, and you hold those chains. So look how old that chain is. It's about to break in different places. So can you imagine what type of living entities have held this chain? Oh my God, it's mind-blowing, isn't it? So after cleaning Radha Kund, I found this chain. So this here is from Radha Kund. Now you all know there's nothing more valuable than Radha Kund, you know. So pass it around and touch it to your head. So I have brought you Radha Kund, just like Prabhupada has brought Vrindavan. So this is the potency of the Acharya. Prabhupada was the Acharya. He could bring Vrindavan or Varshan, and he could manifest it wherever he was. So he came here and installed these deities, Sri Sri Radha Giridhari. So these are deities of the Acharya. Just like we're reading about Krishnadas here, he went to worship the deities of Rupa Goswami, Govindaji. So there's millions of people go there. But at the moment, only 100 people come to see Radha Giridhari. I'd get in now. Get in now before the crowds find out. Because it's one of the principal deities which were installed by the Acharya. People will come from all over the world to come and see these deities one day. So while you have this opportunity, get the mercy now, because it might not be there in 5 years and 10 years' time. So the point I was meant to talk about was time. So within this book, it tells you about time and everything Radha and Krishna are doing at a particular time. So period 1, pastimes at the end of night. So their end and beginning starts at 3:36 a.m. till 6 a.m. Why couldn't it just be 3:30? Why the 6? Eh? I mean, really. This is the time. They work by time. Radha and Krishna, you know, Prabhupada says deity worship means punctuality. Radharani more than anything else. I remember when I was Bajari, I'd open the door right on the second. I'd do that thing right on the second. I'd finish right on the second. I was completely conscious that more than anything else, Radharani likes punctuality. So Radharani's night ends at 6:36 and it goes till 6 a.m. And during that time, then the time's even broken down more. So just like at, say, 6:36, the Shaki's morning service, the birds are waking Radha Madhava. Radha and Krishna are feeling sweet fatigue. At 4:24 to 5:36, the Manjari service and Krishna's, the Manjari's service and Krishna's agitation. Female parrots speak to Radha. The male parrots speak to Krishna. So this is happening. What's the time now? 8:02. So let's go to 8 o'clock. 8:24. No, that's AM. We're looking for PM. This is incredible. It's got the exact times of what Radha and Krishna are doing. Here we go. 8:24. If we just hang around for another 20 minutes, Krishna's in the sleeping chamber. Krishna describes Radha's beauty. It's a good time to hang out for, isn't it? Sabal describes Radha's separation. So this is going to happen at 8:24 until 8:48. So at any particular time of the day, we can think, geez, it's 8:28, what's happening? Krishna describes Radha's beauty right at this time. Stop, you're driving down the motorway. Stop, stop, everybody stop. Why, what's happening? Krishna's describing Radha's beauty. Where? Isn't it? You're right in the middle of a kirtan. You just go, stop everybody, what's happening? It's 8:24. You know, and tonight when you take rest, what time do you take rest? I take rest between, say, 10:30 and 1 in the morning, generally. So at 10:30, 10:24, Radha's meeting Krishna. Krishna searches for Radha. That's happening at 10:24 tonight. That's where you should set your alarm. The alarm goes up and goes, what's going on? Radha's meeting Krishna. Right now in Vrindavan. So then you could be up at 12 o'clock. So what happens at 12? You basically know what happens at 12. The rasa dance begins. Now it doesn't begin at 12, it begins at 11:12 p.m. and it stops at 1:12 a.m. I mean, look at the times. It's not like, oh, it's Indian times, isn't it? When you give a donation, it's 108.1 rupees. Is that where they get all this from? Radha and Krishna's timing, isn't it? You never give like a balanced number, it's always. So look at the times, none of them are really balanced. It can't be 11 o'clock, it has to be 12 minutes past. You know, you can't give you $1, I have to give you $1.50. Why? Well, it's just the way we do it. It's because Radha started it, we didn't. They started it. Now you know where it comes from. So then it goes right back to 3:12, Radha and Krishna's confidential pastimes. At 2 a.m, this is incredible. What do you think Krishna's doing at 2 a.m. to 2:24 a.m? You would never guess. What's Radha and Krishna doing at 2 a.m? I woke up the other day at 2 a.m. Pretty nice time to wake up. What do you think they're doing? You know, having some jalebis or just chilling out? They're unbelievable. These guys are doing water pastimes. I thought they'd do them in the day. And the reason why they can do that is because whatever Krishna desires, the seasons turn up. If Krishna wants to go skiing, it's winter. If he wants to go surfing, it's summer. So when Krishna wakes up or he's just walking around, he goes, oh, I feel like some sun. It's summer. Oh, I want to see the beautiful buds. Oh, it's spring. And then spring appears because everyone's serving Radhe Shyam. So these are all the times and these are all the pastimes that are going on at every moment of the day. Now this is done every day. You would think, gee, pretty boring waking Krishna up and, you know, going to meet Radharani at the same time every day, water sports. Don't they do anything else? Watch the cricket, you know, what else? No, but it's ever increasing. That's the difference. If we try to do the same thing, it's like you go on these, oh, I'm on a fast. It's like, what sort of fast do you do? Ekadasi. It's an eternal Ekadasi, and after all, oh, that's boring. Got to eat some grains. But in the spiritual world, it's increasing. So not having the grains is increasing. So these pastimes are going on every moment, every time. And they're getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. It's like you have a feast and you go, I'm not full. You know, the prasad's in your stomach and it's getting sweeter and sweeter. You go to cop in the car and you don't know how to drive because the prasad's exploding in your system. You know, it's getting sweeter and more powerful and more powerful. So this is spiritual life. So, something to read. Some nice association there. So that's a little bit about Radha and Krishna. What happened to my chain? So that's the chain from Radha Kund. That's just unbelievable, isn't it? Now, if I died tomorrow, let's just say I die now. If that chain was in my house, someone would throw it out. Yeah. They'd go, oh, Jesus, Carla keeps all this old stuff. Where's the right to throw it out? Isn't it? Would you throw it out? If I come into your bar, I'd throw it out. What are you keeping an old chain for, crazy guy? Old man keeps old chain, isn't it? Oh, old men do. Hasn't got a wife, keeps an old chain. Doesn't talks to it. But a transcendentalist, a transcendentalist, they go, oh my God, that's from Radha Kund, the top players. Just imagine, all the bridge buses. Look, it's worn right away. I should make earrings. That's what I might do. Some bridge bus earrings. So can you even imagine the type of living entities, the spiritually advanced sadhus and sadhakas and bridge buses who have held this chain and lowered themselves into Radha Kund? That is just mind-blowing. And in my house I've got some of Prabhupada's hair. So someone would just go, I want Prabhupada keeping the hair for throw it out. And I've got these bowls of dust, brudge dust. Oh, he's got dust, chains here. We knew the guy was cuckoo. It's finally been revealed now. Kalasamvara was just a damn cuckoo. He's got an altar, there's no deities, there's an old chain, a bit of hair, some dust. What a weird. We knew he was a weirdo, now it's confirmed. It shall be written. It has been seen, it has been spoken, and now it shall be written. So there's dust there, there's Prabhupada's hair, there's Prabhupada's tulsi going from when he left his body, there's part of his gamcha, there's brudge dust, there's nothing more, valuable. They say one speck of brudge dust is more valuable than all the wealth and Kurava's kingdom, whatever it is. And all around my house is brudge dust. I had so much dust. I walk around the house, my whole house is surrounded in brudge dust. How cool is that? Pretty cool, huh? So anytime you want some brudge dust, you have to walk around my house. So we want to do that. We want to basically create bits of brudge dust all over Varshan, so people unknowingly are walking around brudge dust. They drive round. By the time they get there, they go, "Whoa, I feel an ecstasy. Wonder what it is." It's the brudge dust. So we create this good fortune. So you might not have been a Radha Kund, but you've held one of the gems of Radha Kund. So that is my offering to you. I have brought Radha Kund to you. I've brought this precious, valuable chain, which appears to be rusty to you, and you've touched it to your head. So that is your good fortune. Your life will never be the same now. You are finished. You might as well just die now and go back to God here. So thank you very much. We can continue talking forever, but we do have to stop because of time. Time's the most amazing thing. So thank you very much for tolerating little bits I've spoken. Radha's stories you can read. Anyone can pick up a book and read a Radha's thing. But to hear the beautiful persons who had been blessed by Radha, and Prabhupada's been blessed by Radharani, he's been blessed by Rupa Goswami, so he can manifest, for someone who can manifest the Dham in New Zealand, Kiwi Loka, that is an incredible thing. And for Prabhupada to have personally installed Sri Sri Radha Giridhari, that's an incredible thing. You should never ever give up your service to Radha Giridhari. It doesn't matter how much the TP doesn't like you. You should confirm. Doesn't matter how much the authorities don't like you, never give up your service to Radha Giridhari, because that is eternal. TPs come and go. Head pujaris come and go, isn't it? Head cooks come and go. But the deities never come and they never go. They're eternally here. So if you can get that faith in the deity which is non-different from Krishna, then your life is perfect. Your life is perfect. And Prabhupada brought the deities not for us, not for me, but for everybody. So this is Prabhupada's gift, that he's actually brought Varsham to New Zealand. That is an incredible realization. So Srila Prabhupada, another thing is, that, see how you got Tulsi on the side there? When I was first got my Brahman, the altar had the same sort of stand on the altar. It had Radha Giridhari, Jagannath Gaurnitai, and on the stand, on the side was Tulsi. So my first service as a Brahmana, because you had to work yourself through the system to worship Radha and Krishna, was to basically decorate Brinda Devi every day for 6 months before I could even touch the other deities. So I'd go on there, change the dress, and put all jewellery on Brinda Devi. It was Brinda Devi. Tulsi Devi's Brinda Devi. Brinda Devi organises everything for Krishna's pleasure. So just by seeing that, it reminded me of 40 years ago. That's what we used to do. Pretty cool, eh? So the foundation of what we're trying to say here is that remembrance of Krishna somehow or other. Create a situation where you can remember Radha and Krishna. Somehow or other. You know, have a black kitchen so you can think of Shyam, isn't it? And then you have a white bench, and the white bench is like Radha Kund. Radha Kund was like crystal clear. Now you might go to Vrindavan and go, Jesus, what sort of dope's colour on? There's pollution, people are dying, there's none of that. Where's the rubies? You know, where's the crystal clear kunds? So Prabhupada says we have one speck in the eye, isn't it? One speck. But through Nam Sankirtan and Chaito Darpana Marjanam, the speck is cleared away. So we're seeing what Vrindavan looks like, but our lusty desires to enjoy the material world stops us from entering into Vrindavan. But Prabhupada says you can't buy a ticket. So how do you enter Vrindavan? By service. Radha's serving Krishna, Krishna's serving Radha. So when you're in the West, you serve. So what do you serve? The Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Harinama, Eva Kevala, Kalona, Stavana, Stavana, Gatiranyata. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. Except the holy name, the holy name, the holy name. So by doing this Nam Sankirtan, this is pleasing to Radharani. So when you go to Vrindavan, you enter. It's like you do service, and it's like an invitation in. And when you get that invitation to enter Vrindavan, what do you want to do? You want to go back and do Nam Sankirtan. It's reciprocal. It's like this game of tug and war that you have between yourself and spirituality. It's not that, oh God, I love Vrindavan so much I don't want to leave. No. You go to Vrindavan, you enter into Vrindavan, and then immediately you want to go back, because spirituality means just to give. Just give. That's the whole substance of a devotee, just to give Krishna praying. So we're so lucky that we can just walk down the street and yell out, Krishna, Krishna. We're so lucky. And people reciprocating. They love to see us. Actually, it's a disservice not to go. Like I explained, that was one lady with her 2 children. I asked her, what are you doing here? She says, my mother would bring me every Friday night to see the Harinam Sankirtan. So I bring my daughters. Not even a devotee, but a devotee. So-called not a devotee, but just a tradition, you know. So it's very important that somehow or other through Sankirtan, through home programs, through deity worship, Rathayatras, Padayatras, through somehow or other, we just get into this mood of giving and giving and giving. And then Radharani, she sees this and she becomes very pleased. So we want to please Radha. She has a hand like that, isn't it? She has a hand like that. What's she doing with the other hand? Holding a flower. And stop, you rascal. You're so damn impatient. Just stop. You're full of lust and anger and greed. Just calm down. And here's the rose. Also, it's a blessing. So Mani, just stop. You know, when I feel you're ready, I'll tell my buddy. It's just like you might come to me and go, oh, can you know, Bear Krishna Maharaj is coming next week. Can you get me an appointment, or who are you? Why? What's your qualification? What have you done? Isn't it? And if I see that, oh God, he sweeps the floor, he's on Nam, he's doing it, I go, for sure, I'll ring him up now, make an appointment. So it's the same with Radharani. You want to be with Shyam, but you've got to come through me. And I only want the best for Shyam. I'm like Shyam's lover and his bodyguard and everything. I just want the best for Shyam. So, you want me to tell you, you're coming to me, you want me to turn to Shyam and say, Shyam, this person wants to touch your lotus feet, he wants to hear you play the flute, he wants to dance and run. Well, get it together then. Get it together. So we get it together through this distribution of love of Godhead. There's nothing higher than the word Krishna. And we're chanting Radha Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radha Radha. In a sense, we're chanting like that. Oh, that's pretty far out. Where'd you get that from? Sri Krishna says, O Narada, I tell you truly, truly, again, truly, truly, again and again, without the mercy of Srimati Radharani, one cannot obtain my mercy. It's a good tattoo. I might get that tattoo. It's a good tattoo, actually. So we have that mercy, and that mercy has been bestowed upon all of us by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yes,